A few vintage pickup trucks stand out. Obtaining some of these pickups, though, might not be simple. They are much more sought after due to their scarcity. When you do locate one, though, you might not want to give it up. On the used automobile market, some of these vintage trucks are now extremely valuable, despite their former low cost. There are several reasons why these pickups demand our attention. Certain ones hold significance in history, while others enthrall us with their exquisite appearance. 15. Ford Courier. Ford and GM both had the same idea in the 1970s to start producing a mini truck of their own in response to the success of compact Datsun and Toyota pickups. Similar to General Motors, Ford resorted to partnering with its Japanese counterpart Mazda, marketing the B-Series pickup under the Ford Courier moniker, which was previously applied to sedan delivery station wagons. The Ford model was different from the Mazda version in that it had a redesigned grille, big single headlamps, and a Courier, later Ford stamped tailboard. The Chevy Luvi and the Courier both debuted in 1972. In 1977, it underwent a redesign featuring a more squared-off appearance and was available in two variants, a 6-foot standard bed and a 7-foot long bed. Similar to GM, Ford also replaced the Courier in the early 1980s with the Ranger, a larger truck manufactured in the United States. 14. Hummer H1. The Hummer H1 is a four-wheel drive utility vehicle based on the M998 Humvee, which was developed by AM General. Originally designed strictly for military use, the off-road vehicle was released to the civilian market in 1992. The civilian version of the Hummer H1 was produced from 1992 through 2006 and was the first of what became the Hummer line. AM General built both the H1 and the Humvee in its Mishawaka, Indiana facility. GM stopped marketing the H1 in the 2006 model year, but AM General continued production of the military Humvee versions through 2018. The Hummer H1 was known for its impressive off-road capabilities, thanks to its high ground clearance, powerful engines, and robust construction. However, it was also criticized for its poor fuel economy and large size, which made it difficult to maneuver in tight spaces. The H1 inherited the Humvee's ruggedness and off-road prowess. It was available with a variety of powerful engines, including a V6 and a V8, and had a high ground clearance, which allowed it to drive over obstacles that would stop other vehicles. The H1 came standard with four-wheel drive, which provided excellent traction in all types of weather and terrain. The H1 was known for its poor fuel economy, which was a major drawback for some consumers. 13. GMC Railroad Crew Cab. Crew cabs, as their name suggests, were first designed to transport a 6-person work crew in a single vehicle while on the job. In 1962, coach manufacturers such as Crown Steel Products in Ohio and Stageway Coaches in Arkansas completed the conversions of GMC crew cabs instead of producing them at GM factories. Few were ordered, and the majority were employed in the railway sector after being modified to include flanged steel wheels on the front and rear that could retract to allow for track driving. Born from a collaboration between GMC and independent coach builders like Crown Steel Products, the crew cab wasn't a factory creation. It started life as a standard GMC pickup, then underwent a transformation. The bed was stretched, a second row of seats was added, and the most striking feature, dual sets of wheels were installed. One set, with standard rubber tires, tackled the road, while the other, with flanged steel wheels, gripped the rails. This engineering marvel allowed the crew cab to seamlessly switch between road and rail, transporting work crews and materials efficiently. Only 6 units of these trucks were ever built, making them highly sought after by collectors today. They were not built at GM factories, but by third-party coach builders specifically for the railroad industry. These trucks were unique in that they had both rear flanged steel and retracting front steel wheels, allowing them to operate on both the road and railroad tracks. This versatility made them ideal for transporting railroad crews and materials to work sites. 12. Jeep CJ10. The Jeep CJ10 was a unique and relatively short-lived offering from the iconic off-road brand known for its rugged vehicles. Introduced in 1971, primarily targeted for export markets outside North America, due to its larger size and engine options compared to the popular CJ models like the CJ5 and CJ7. Initially produced in South Bend, Indiana, later moved to Mexico for cost-effectiveness. Production ended in 1986 with limited civilian sales in North America, mainly through independent distributors. Offered in both two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive configurations, and powered by various engines depending on the market. AMC 4.2-liter i6, 230 CI gasoline engine in early models. Nissan SD33 3.3-liter i4 diesel engine in later models, considered innovative for its fuel efficiency, and GM V6 engine in some Australian models. Transmission options included 3-speed manual and automatic transmissions. It is recognized for its rugged construction, off-road capability, and simplicity, similar to other CJ models. The CJ10 earned a reputation as a capable and reliable workhorse in various regions around the world, particularly in agricultural, military, and industrial applications. Due to its limited production and primary focus on export markets, it remains a relatively rare and sought-after vehicle among collectors and off-road enthusiasts. Its larger size and diesel engine option differentiated it from other CJ models, offering increased functionality for specific needs. 11. Mack Jr. Pickup. The Mack Jr. Pickup was a unique and relatively short-lived offering from the renowned truck manufacturer Mack Trucks. Introduced in 1936 during the Great Depression as a strategy to improve sales. Instead of developing a new light-duty truck, Mack partnered with Rio Motorcar Company to rebrand slightly modified Rio Speedwagon trucks as the Mack Jr. production continued until 1938, with a revision in 1937 that included a heavier chassis, axles, and a new hood design. The Mack Jr. never achieved significant sales success and is considered rare due to its limited production run. The Mack Jr. was available in half-ton, 4,500 pounds, and increased capacity, 5,000 pounds options in 1937, and was powered by a Rio engine. It distinguished itself from the Rio Speedwagon with Mack badging and a more rugged appearance, including a distinctive bulldog mascot on the hood in 1937 to 1938 models. The Mack Jr. represents an unconventional approach by Mack in attempting to enter the light-duty truck market. Despite its limited success, it serves as an interesting historical footnote for the brand and enthusiasts of classic trucks. Finding a surviving Mack Jr. today is highly uncommon due to its low production numbers and age, making it a valuable collector's item. 10. International Scout SS2. Produced by International Harvester from 1977 to 1979, the International Scout SS2, Super Scout II, was a more basic and off-road-oriented variant of the well-known International Scout II. It was designed to go head-to-head in the expanding sport utility vehicle (SUV) market with the Jeep CJ5. The first Super Scout II SS2 was introduced by International Harvester in 1977. It was a deconstructed, off-road racing-focused Scout model with detachable fabric doors, a cloth roof, and several other light and maneuverable weight features. When the Scout II was introduced in 1971, it had high expectations. The interior was also more upscale and less rustic, despite the vehicle's continued simplicity. In the off-road desert racing scene, the Scout II, or more precisely, the Scout SS2, would become well known. Jerry Boone's modified SS2 would go on to win the 1977 Baja 1000 4x4 production vehicle class, about 2 hours ahead of his nearest rival, a Jeep. The Scout SS2 was created as the normal Scout II off-road racing variant. It was made lighter by adding a roll bar for safety, removable fabric doors, a cloth roof, and plastic door inserts and grills. The Scout SS2 shares many characteristics with the Scout II, including body-on-chassis construction, live axles front and rear on leaf springs, and an engine positioned in the front that sends power to all 4 wheels via a 2-speed transfer case and either a manual or automatic gearbox. Due to its performance in desert racing, the SS2 had striking styling and sold well, but not enough to keep the model in production, which was only available from 1977 to 1979. 9. Dodge Macho Power Wagon. The Shelby Baja Raptor is a high-performance pickup truck based on the Ford F-150 Raptor and modified by the legendary American automotive manufacturer Shelby. Based on the Ford F-150 Raptor, which is known for its off-road capability and performance. Shelby enhances the performance further with a custom cold air intake system and tuning of the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 engine, resulting in increased horsepower and torque. It is equipped with 16 18-inch forged aluminum wheels wrapped in 37-inch BFG KM3 mud-terrain tires, providing superior off-road traction and ground clearance. It has an upgraded suspension system for improved handling and stability, even on the most challenging terrains. Additional off-road features like front and rear bumpers, winch mount, and LED light bar further enhance its off-road capabilities. The Shelby Raptor distinguishes itself from the standard Raptor with unique Shelby badging and graphics throughout the exterior. Custom hood with dual air intakes for improved engine performance, and also available in various color options, including exclusive Shelby colors like Code Orange. The Shelby Baja Raptor is a high-performance off-road focused truck built for enthusiasts seeking superior power, capability, and a distinctive Shelby heritage. 8. Subaru Brat. Originally debuted in 1977, the Subaru Brat, short for Bi-Drive Recreational All-Terrain Transporter, was a light-duty, four-wheel drive coupe utility vehicle based on the Subaru Leon. Following the idea of coupe utilities like the Chevrolet El Camino and the Ford Ranchero, the Brat was originally released as a 1978 model and was directly evolved from the company's four-wheel drive station wagon vehicle. The car was sold between 1978 and 1994. The president of Subaru of America requested that the Brat be developed in Japan in 1977, and it was subsequently released to meet the growing demand for compact trucks in North America and to compete with other manufacturers like Toyota, Nissan, and Mazda. The Brat used the original Gen 1 body until 1982, when the Leon underwent revision in 1979 for the 1980 model year. The Subaru EA engine and four-wheel drive were standard on all Brats. The 1.6-liter EA71 engine was fitted to early versions, while the 1.8-liter EA81 engine was fitted to cars manufactured from 1981. A 94 horsepower, 70 kilowatt turbocharged engine was an optional feature for the 1983 and 1984 versions. All models came with manual transmissions as standard, although turbocharged Brat variants may choose for an automatic transmission. The single-range gearbox was included in the 1980 and prior models. Up until 1998, President Ronald Reagan possessed a 1978 Brat at his property close to Santa Barbara, California. Since then, the Young America's Foundation has acquired ownership of the car and refurbished it before returning it to the ranch. 7. Dodge Swepside. Dodge sold a range of pickup trucks known as the C-Series from 1954 to 1960. It was subsequently replaced by the 1961 introduced Dodge D-Series of trucks, which took the place of the Dodge B-Series of trucks. Dodge carried on the Pilot House custom of having highly visible cabs with a wraparound windscreen, which was first seen in 1955. In that year, a new two-speed PowerFlight automatic gearbox was introduced. The new look was also applied to the Dodge Town Panel and Town Wagon. In 1957, Chrysler gave the Hemi-powered Dodge trucks the moniker Power Giant and added a 3-speed automatic gearbox, 12-volt electrical system, and power brakes and steering. Dodge produced the Swepside pickup, a competitor to the Chevrolet Cameo Carrier, from 1957 to 1959, but it was never a bestseller. A bigger swept-line cargo box with flat sides was introduced in 1959. The business also started using the same standard pickup truck numbering method that Ford and GM were using at the time. Consequently, the Dodge Half-Ton was renamed the D100. There was still the conventional Utiline variant with a separate fender body that could support up to 9,000 pounds, 4,100 kilograms, on one-ton vehicles. Following a deal between Dodge and Studebaker, the pickup bed from the C-Series was also used in the lineup of Studebaker Champ pickup trucks. 6. Dodge Warlock. During a challenging period for automakers in the late 1970s, Dodge was hard at work creating intriguing vehicles. Dodge's adult toy lineup of automobiles included the Dodge Warlock, which belonged to the same truck lineup as the Lil Red Express. These cars were meant to be a contrast to the typically boring designs produced at the time by the American auto industry. The Warlock was manufactured regularly from 1977 to 1979, after being made in limited quantities in 1976. Both 4x2 and 4x4 variants were available. The 4x4 models were dubbed Power Wagons. The standard slant 6, the 318 with a 2 or 4 barrel carburetor, the 364 barrel, the 400 V8, and the 440 V8 were the available engine options for the Warlock. The Dodge Warlock was first produced only in black, but later models, known as the Warlock II, were offered in a variety of colors, including vivid green and red. The Warlock was designed in direct response to the burgeoning trend of truck customization, as evidenced by its menacing black paint job and chrome highlights. In addition to additional aesthetic upgrades like gold tape defining certain interior spaces and a striking gold line encircling the car's body, it had larger, more ostentatious wheels, thicker tires, bucket seats, and real walnut sideboards. This truck seems to be more a product of its era than the other cars in the adult toys line. It doesn't necessarily capitalize on the aesthetics of earlier generations, but rather adopts a more modern appearance. 5. Ford Model TT. The Ford Model T revolutionized the motor industry forever. The Ford Model TT is a vehicle that demands our attention because of its unmistakable appearance as well as its historical relevance. Based on the Model T was the Ford Model TT. The Model T's wheelbase was shorter than that of this truck. This was a solid build thanks to the Ford Model TT's sturdy frame. In 1917, the Model TT was introduced. Even though it wasn't as fast as other pickups at the time, this vehicle was a workhorse. These trucks served as ambulances, among other things, during World War I. In 1928, this truck was replaced by the Model AA. 4. International Harvester Pickup. An International Harvester Scout might truly be what some gearheads truly want. Still, it is impossible to overlook the International Harvester pickups. International Harvester established a solid reputation for manufacturing robust vehicles starting in the early 1900s. One such line of pickups that is renowned for its longevity is the K and KB series. These vehicles were intended to be used as workspaces. That, however, is hardly shocking given International Harvester's past. Tractors for the rural community were also produced by this company. During the conflict, the International K series was created. Production of the KB series lasted from 1947 to 1949. It continued where the K series left off. The low grille of the KB series, which extends like wings, is one distinctive design element. The hood ornament stands out on its own. One of the Green Diamond 214CU in L-head straight-six engines powered the KB series pickup trucks. 3. GMC Sonoma GT. The Sonoma GT was a one-year model that only 806 were produced. It's easy to forget, but it was also overshadowed by the GMC Cyclone, a performance truck so intense that we once compared it to a Ferrari 348 TS. The more inexpensive Sonoma GT opted for a 195 HP normally aspirated version of the same 4.3-liter mill, driving only the rear wheels, as opposed to the 280 HP turbocharged V6 in the all-wheel drive Cyclone. It shared a lower suspension setup with the more iconic behemoth in the GMC stable, which was tweaked by passionate engineers to make it handle and maneuver like a pony car. It was a brilliant notion, and in fact, the balance and handling characteristics of the less extreme variant were actually preferred by some customers. The following generation truck from General Motors, which debuted in 1994, was a return of the concept. However, it evolved into the Chevrolet S10 SS and S10 Extreme, which sold more than 3 times as many units annually until 1998. 2. Chevrolet 3100. The Chevrolet 3100, a half-ton truck, was a powerful and elegant vehicle. The 235 CU and 6-cylinder and the 265 CU and V8 engines were available as options. The wheelbase of this vehicle was 114 inches. The wraparound windscreen and egg crate grille were unique features of these Chevy 3100 pickups. According to Classic, a Chevrolet 3100 pickup typically costs $51,103, but a 1957 Chevrolet 3100 pickup brought $145,000 at auction. 1. Dodge B Series. Over time, Dodge pickups underwent changes. 1948 saw the release of the Dodge B Series. Options for 1/2 ton and 3/4 ton were offered. The 108-inch wheelbase with a 6.5-foot bed, and the 116-inch wheelbase with a 7.5-foot bed were available for the half-ton option. For the half-ton B1B versions, a 95-horsepower straight-six engine provided propulsion. Conversely, the 3/4-ton B1C vehicle was powered by the 108-horsepower variant. The Dodge B-Series captures the attention and captivates the pedestrian. The grille appears ominous. The fender's line extends to the door. The driver felt like a crown prince in the higher seating position. Rear quarter windows were an option available on the pilot house cab. Modified Dodge B-Series vehicles can be turned into some of the most amazing vintage trucks we've ever seen.